Today, we're going to explore a powerful mindset shift that's going to transform jobs from obligations or these necessary evils into a strategic vehicles that's actually propelling you towards this ultimate career destination. I'm Scott with Life Sketch, your ADHD career coach with over 15 years of experience, and welcome to my office. And if you're between 25 and 45 years old, navigating life with a neurodivergent brain and finding yourself yearning for something more than just a job, a true career that aligns with who you are, then this conversation is for you. Let me paint a picture for you. The way I see it unfolding every time in some of my counseling sessions. Imagine a bright 23-year-old fresh out of college, and she dives into her first couple jobs with total enthusiasm, only to hit a wall of burnout, where her executive function begins to falter, and this rigid black or white thinking convinces her that a standard 40 hours a week is just simply inaccessible. Or another talented young adult who spends months exploring this whirlwind of interest, but ends up paralyzed by overwhelm, feeling like they're navigating without a map. Or what about those who've been laid off, facing these invisible barriers from disabilities, or grappling with a raw frustration that follows, let's say, a late ADHD or autism diagnosis? The patterns shift with age, of course, right? In their early 20s, many feel utterly drowned in this sea of endless options, drifting through roles that may feel disconnected from our true passions and gifts. By the 30s, regret often creeps in over those haphazard paths that never quite feel like they've been built towards something meaningful. And in our 40s, it's this profound restlessness, a fear of stagnation without a clear sense of growth or purpose. And at the root of these cycles is a mix of societal pressure, which is urging us to this elusive, perfect career, and that sense that the current hardships are just meaningless without a bigger picture, or simply just the necessity of grabbing whatever job pays the bills, only to find yourself trapped in this daily grind that drains the joy right out of life. But recognizing this is the first step to breaking free. Now let's delve deeper into how we often perceive these concepts, drawing from the patterns that I've observed over the years of my experience. Clients typically view jobs as these dead-end necessities, these mere traps to endure, grinding away without any real connection to our deeper aspirations. And these careers, on the other hand, they are seen as these unattainable ideal. Right? A seamless 30-year path where work feels effortless and fulfilling. Yet, this perspective is fundamentally limiting because it overlooks the truth that jobs are the very building blocks of a career. They strategically cultivate expertise, they reveal what truly energizes or drains you, and they evolve over time rather than locking you in forever. When we treat every role as just a job, we invite stagnation, overlooked opportunities, and the strains on our own mental health, such as persistent anxiety or just the sense that we're just wilting away. And from my experience, this stems from an ADHD-driven impulsivity, leading towards shifts without strategy. The exciting part is when we reframe this entirely with 4 mindset shifts that are designed specifically for people with ADHD, which emphasizes quick wins, a clear purpose, and adaptability to overcome the boredom and overload. Our starting mindset shift is back to this cliche of first begin with the end in mind. So what you're going to do is you reverse engineer your path from the destination that you envision, a place of in fact. And so think about, hey, in 10, 20 years, who do I want to be? Where do I want to be? What impact do I want to have? What do I want my life and my career to look like? What's important to me? And what we do is we start to wrestle with these questions. And here's an important caveat. I don't think that we're trying to necessarily answer these questions because I think in many ways, they're unanswerable, right? I don't know exactly what I want to go do in 5 years, 10 years. I don't know exactly who I'm going to be when I grow up. And yet These questions are really vital to start to engage with and start to get that clarification so that we can then start to work our way backwards. And if to say, hey, this is where I want to be, this is what I really care about, well, that's where we get to start to brainstorm. Well, how might you actually get there? If this is my income goal, how might I make that? If I want to have this ultimate freedom, what are the paths? What does it take? So we begin with the end in mind, and then we start to reverse engineer that and build our way backwards. From there, we start to select jobs as intentional vehicles that are actually going to position us for success. In my own journey, I had this very low paying counseling role, From there, we start to select jobs as intentional vehicles that position us for success. Instead of that destination, it's going to say, well, what's going to actually get us there? And personally, in my own journey, it started out in these very low-paying nonprofit and counseling roles. But these provided invaluable training and experience, which paved the way for my independent practice. And for those with ADHD, this creates a vital anchor. And that why combats impulsive decisions that's going to actually keep you focused. Second is we need to embrace that careers are meant to evolve. Right? They're not stagnant. They're not forever. Adopt a developmental perspective where shifts in life, like family needs or economic changes, naturally are going to redirect our course. I worked with a pastor who transitioned into real estate to support his growing family, maintaining his core purpose just in a new form. And this is particularly empowering for the ADHD brains because it celebrates novelty and flexibility, which releases that grip of trying to find that perfect and forever illusion. Third, transform job searches into these powerful career explorations. This is where, if we think about that reverse engineering process we talked about, where we're envisioning this idea and imagining where our career could go, and if we're seeing jobs as vehicles to get out there, well, this and the actual job search is a great way to do some test run, right? Is to say, hey, let me try this out. Let me see if it's a good fit. Let me at least just try to get an interview and talk with someone to see, if I actually like it and if it would be something that I could sync up with. And we get to use a job search actually as these small bets or these small experiments to, again, get some data. The ADHD hack here lies in prioritization fit. So seek environments that are going to be a good fit, that are going to play to your strengths and interests, some of your personality or creativity. While doing that, you build up that executive functioning, right? Some of those different skills. And then fourth, ground everything in service. If we look at what makes a career the most satisfying and successful, it's really based on the value that we can have, the help that we can provide, the impact that we can make. So focus on who you can help, which naturally creates leverage for more satisfying opportunities. Remember, every job is a stepping stone with its own lifespan. To bring this to life, let's consider a recent client whose story encapsulated these ideas perfectly. This 30-something-year-old professional had a very eclectic resume. He was a program coordinator at a museum one year, and then he moved into insurance the next, jumping between unrelated roles every couple years due to burnout or boredom. And with ADHD fueling his desires to try everything, even pinpointing what he truly wanted just completely felt overwhelming and unattainable. And it spilled all over, letting basic aspects of his personal life fall by the wayside. We reframed his experience. Jobs as vehicles, career as a destination, built through strategic choices, leveraging his personality, creativity, and problem solving. By crafting a narrative that tied his random background into themes of adaptability, he gained clarity and launched into a fulfilling path that really did fit his brain. His breakthrough moment was realizing that the pressure eased when he shifted from quote unquote finding a career to actively creating one. And as we reflect on these insights, consider your own path. What eclectic elements in your story could become your strengths? How might seeing a job as a strategic vehicle alleviate some of your current overwhelm? The mindset isn't about perfectionism. It isn't about finding this shiny career that if you got it, all other things would just go away. It's about empowerment, turning disconnected experiences into a coherent journey of balance and cohesion. And if you want to get started with this, feel free to download my free ADHD career guide in the description below. It's filled with prompts that's going to help you envision your future, narrate your resume, and evaluate fit. Share your biggest challenges in the comments. I'd love to connect and offer thoughts. And if this resonated with you, give it a like, subscribe for more of these sort of insights and dives, share it with those who need it, and let's keep building this meaningful path together. You've got this. I'll see you in the next one.